These are 12 of South Park's darkest episodes. This will get offensive and obscene. You have been warned. And we're starting off at number 12 with the Human Centipad. Back in 2010, Apple unveiled the iPad to the world. This magical device that could be used for creation and important things, but is nowadays infamously used by small children, giving them brain rot. With this new gadget being so popular and South Park always commenting on the world around them, they kicked off season 15 by combining the concept of the iPad with a film that released a few years prior, The Human Centipede. The episode begins with the children on their new iPads, with Cartman rubbing it in the face of others who don't have one, although in actuality, he doesn't own one. Then we see Kyle minding his own business using his iPad in public when all of a sudden, people from Apple come to kidnap him for weird testing. Except it's not kidnapping. He agreed to the tablet's terms and conditions, so it's only fair. This obviously comes as a surprise to Kyle, but after filling in his friends on the matter, they said that they read Apple's terms and conditions all the time. Ultimately, Apple's henchmen take Kyle away, while Cartman is busy at Best Buy trying to get his mom to buy him an iPad.
Go ahead, Mom, f*** me! F*** me right here in the Best Buy! You wanna f*** your son so bad? Go on, Mom, f*** me! F*** me!
Kyle finds himself in a strange, dark place when suddenly he finds himself chained up on stage. But again, it's in the terms and conditions. He should have known better.
Hold up, here it is right here. By clicking agree, you are also acknowledging that Apple may sew your mouth to the butthole of another iTunes user.
We then see Steve Jobs and friends at the Apple headquarters taking in the breathtaking beauty of their new creation. The rest of the gang goes to their Apple Store's Genius Bar, while Kyle continues to suffer smack in the middle of the world's first human centipad. The technological marvel is then handed over to Cartman as a nice donation from Apple. The geniuses allow Kyle's dad to join Apple and undo his son's agreements, and the human centipad is taken apart for good. This was a classic South Park episode that effectively used its world to mock the real one. And there's more of that in this video, but moving forward, you'll also see a change that goes from weird and comedic to outright cruel. In the episode Crack Baby Athletic Association, a whole industry is born under Eric Cartman as he makes great profit through the use of sick infants. It begins with Stan and Kyle enjoying television until they get a depressing advertisement about struggling crack-addicted babies. Feeling bad, Kyle goes to the hospital to help out with the epidemic when he bumps into a very professional-looking Cartman. Kyle discovers that Cartman is running the morally flawed Crack Baby Athletic Association. It's a new sport they invented with babies fighting over a ball filled with crack. And it's a success on the internet. Even EA Sports wants to make a game about it. The boys enjoy their new luxurious lifestyle, which mainly consists of them getting Denny's. And even Kyle got roped in, enjoying the fruits of their work.
A hot tub full of KFC gravy, Cal. Did you ever think you would see that in your lifetime?
At one point, Cartman and Butters knock on the door of a pregnant, crack-addicted woman, and they essentially pre-order a crack baby to join their industry. Kyle goes back and forth visiting Stan, doing mental gymnastics to make the situation acceptable, but he doesn't end up doing it much longer as the EA Sports Crack Baby basketball game ends up ripping off their newfound company, leading them to cease operations.
Well, boys, this has been real educational and all, but now let's part with that old EA Sports saying, get the fuck out of my building.
Thankfully, the story ends happily for the babies, as a new orphanage is constructed for them to live in. This is one of the rare happy endings to be seen in this video, but even so, Crack Baby basketball is pretty insane, even for Cartman. And things only get darker in Butters' very own episode, which begins with a unique title sequence embracing his whimsical essence.
Who's the boy that can laugh at a storm cloud, turn a frown into a smile for free? Who's the kid with a heart full of magic? Everyone knows it's Butters.
That's me.
The Scotch household is feeling pretty content as the anniversary of his mom and dad's wedding is arriving soon. But it's revealed to the audience and the whole family that the dad has a secret hobby that involves infidelity. This brings great stress upon the mom and it results in some questionable lines of dialogue.
Must kill? The only way? Must kill Butters.
Butters finds his father in this embarrassing situation, but the little dude is oblivious to everything going on. All of a sudden, his mom proposes that they go on a drive, and this happens.
It's okay, baby. Mommy will be with you very soon.
I think that, yep, it looks like the car's filling up with water. Yeah, I think maybe now might be a good time to come back inside the car and drive, Mom.
That was easily one of the darkest moments of the whole show. Following this scene is her breaking down at home. Amazingly, Butters survived like nothing and was still walking around oblivious to what was going on. This single episode focused on Butters, who's one of South Park's kindest and most innocent, was ironically filled with infidelity, an attempted murder of a child, mentally unwell behavior, and O.J. Simpson. What makes this even darker is that the mother's murder attempt on Butters was likely inspired by a real-life story of a similar situation from the 90s. It seems the episode's whole purpose was to create shock value, and it succeeded in that realm, but watching it can also grant the viewer some genuine uneasiness. The same can be said about the return of Chef, which is exactly what it sounds like. This episode began season 10 with a follow-up on a fan-favorite character, who was previously seen only once in the season prior and significantly more in the first 2 seasons of the show. A recap starts off the episode embracing how Chef already had a beautiful send-off in the past. He realized that he wanted to get out of South Park and do more with his life, so he takes a plane as he joined the Super Adventure Club and flew off into the sunset. So beautiful. So in this episode, he's here, and it brings everyone together. But something's a little off with Chef.
Well, I guess we'll see you in school tomorrow, Chef.
You bet. Goodbye. Children!
In the real world, Chef's voice actor stepped away from the role, so all they had left were old voice recordings to use. But from the kids' perspective, Chef returned acting like an NPC.
I'm gonna make love to your asshole, children.
A detective hears about Chef's foul behavior and is on the case, to an extent, at least. Doing some detective work of their own, the boys speak with the Super Adventure Club to figure out why Chef has been acting strange. It becomes clear very quickly.
Hi. Our friend joined your club a while back, and now he wants to molest kids.
What? Well, yes, of course. That's what the Super Adventure Club does.
The boys then take Chef to a psychiatrist to help him go back to normal, and he suggests they take Chef to a gentleman's club so he can focus on his usual passion for women as opposed to this new passion for, those much younger. This strange attempt at fixing Chef actually works, but then the Super Adventure Club puts him to sleep and kidnaps him. The boys arrive to get their friend back, and they succeed in getting him out, but Chef starts to have doubts when suddenly the impossible happens.
Oh, damn it.
Chef!
The grizzly bear!
Kyle makes a really nice statement at Chef's funeral, and it makes the purpose of the episode seem abundantly clear. The voice actor for Chef was obviously a friend of the South Park team for years, but he was reportedly pressured to leave the show by his fellow Scientologists. Therefore, this episode is their metaphorical commentary on the situation. They miss their friend, but feel that a harmful group got their way with him. I, for one, greatly appreciate when a show uses its platform to insightfully comment on our world, but in this case, it was through the form of a very dark episode. A fan-favorite character was brought back just to be gruesomely killed. But look, the next entry is a holiday special, so maybe that'll bring some nice festive cheer to all this. Woodland Critter Christmas is the finale of Season 8, and it's a good example of South Park being over the top. A narrator does his thing, kicking off the story, and it's already giving off the accurate holiday vibe. Stan finds some jolly talking animals in the forest, but is pretty relaxed about their presence. He was trying to mind his own business until they found their way into his room in the middle of the night and explained that the porcupine is pregnant. A villainous mountain lion reared its head, so Stan defeated it, but her children came out sad. Perhaps the lion wasn't so villainous. But let's see what the other critters have to say.
He did it! Now our Critter Christmas can finally happen! Hail Satan! Hail Satan!
Well, this is clearly taking a ridiculous route, and they even sacrifice a bunny and indulge in promiscuous behavior, because this is festive and jolly. Worried about the situation in the forest, Stan returns and attempts to put a stop to it all. The critters explain that they want a human sacrifice, but Stan refuses. Go figure. Following the narrator's strange instructions, he gathers up the mountain cubs from earlier and arrives at a clinic to figure out how to put a stop to the Antichrist's arrival. I did not think I was going to be saying that sentence today. Jeez. Now they're at the clinic learning how to stop the pregnancy, and this is way more than I expected, so I'm gonna cut to Kyle being taken by the evil critters. It's Christmas Eve now, but it's not feeling very festive, as there's a big scary thing in the sky, and Satan was reborn. But, as you totally predicted, Santa came down and dealt with the critters as Stan freed Kyle. And, just like you also expected, Kyle allowed the devil to overtake him so that he could rule the world. Kidding! This was all just a story made up by Cartman. Thank goodness, actually. This absurd, dark story feels more at home in Cartman's mind than the typical South Park episode. It's memorable, to say the least, but I also have no plans of watching this around the holidays. The same season, a few episodes earlier, actually blessed us with a darker story, less about Christmas and more about the immoral targeting of young girls. This is stupid, spoiled video playset, and it's clear that the show's creators didn't view Paris Hilton very highly. She gets up on stage in front of her large audience being nasty and wild, but to her fans, she's pretty great. She was there to promote the opening of her new store. It's full of nonsense, and Wendy Testaberger continues to stand as a good voice of reason that isn't being heard by the rest of her friends.
But the idea that we'll be harsh for money is belittling to our gender. Wendy, get a clue. The only thing more important than being rich is being famous.
In case the mood wasn't already depressing, we cut to their version of Paris Hilton being snobby. So snobby, in fact, that her little dog shot itself. We're only 3.5 minutes in, dude. Wendy spends time with her friends to get away from the nonsense, but that fails hard.
I just got the Stupid Spoiled video playset.
Stupid Spoiled video playset.
We can make videos that get out on the internet. Yeah!
Grieving over her dog who passed 2 seconds ago, she decides to kidnap Butters as the next cute pet to carry along with her. Wendy is fed up with this toxic trend, so she brings Dad to put a stop to it. But he too, falls victim to it. Meanwhile, Paris Hilton is dead set on getting Butters, so she offers $200 million to buy him off his parents. They actually consider it. Simultaneously, Wendy has fallen into the minority who doesn't vibe with the toxic culture. So, throwing in the towel, she asks Mr. Slave the ways of being a whore. And now Paris Hilton officially bought Butters off of his family. There's a gnarly sequence here where Butters opens up this book she has just lying around in her limo of her previous pets all dead that ended themselves due to Paris being so crappy. The storylines converge at a party where Hilton and Mr. Slave begin an argument about the scandalous lifestyle. It ends with Hilton going up his bum. The moral of the story is, scandalous figures should not be looked up to. It's a good moral, but it was a story that involved scandalous activity and young children, which is not a good mix regardless of the context. But as we saw, the behavior was crazy, the dogs passing away was crazy, and Butters' parents being down to give up their son is just sad. Who knew a Paris Hilton episode would be so dark? But in all seriousness, I don't condone Paris Hilton hate. Her portrayal was dramatized, she is more than how she is represented here, and this is a dated episode, so the depiction isn't accurate to today. So, we've gone over a fan favorite character being brought back just to gruesomely perish, festive woodland critters praising the Dark Lord, and now a whole person going up someone's bum. This next one, though, is pretty damn nasty. Appropriately titled Cartman Joins Nambla, we almost immediately see him say the classic line,
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
He's fed up with his annoying friends, so he meets some men online through the chat room titled Men Who Like Young Boys. He figured that he would be sure to find some people who'd like him there. He meets up with one of them at an isolated spot, yet he's still oblivious to the situation. This happens once more with Mr. Garrison actually, which is pretty unsettling given the fact that he is a teacher and all. But anyways, the two of them sit in jail until they're freed by NAMBLA, a group of people that embody a troubling stance.
We are an organization dedicated to showing that sex between a man and a young boy can be a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Cartman reaches out to Mephisto, explaining that he wants to hang out with older men. So Mephisto suggests he joins NAMBLA. So that's what he does at the perfect time for them.
We need a poster child to show the world that it is a beautiful and wonderful thing. Can we help you?
Yes, I'd like to join your fine organization. Is that cool?
Cartman gets used to their advantage, and with him being egotistical, the dude is having the time of his life. The organization then hosts an event where the men get a second to show off the young boys they're spending time with. Just then the FBI cracks down on NAMBLA, except it's the one Mephisto is a part of that has nothing to do with the other. So now that they're all on the same page, they go to the nasty NAMBLA conference and shut it down, right after a Scooby-Doo style interaction. So I think this episode wears the crown for being the most disgusting, but at the same time, this next entry does involve assault. This is the China problem. Kyle is upset. He saw George Lucas and Spielberg harm the reputation of Indiana Jones with the newest film at the time, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Everyone is aware that this happened, but others aren't talking about it. Stan feels that there was nothing they could do. It was a crime that they witnessed. It happened. All they can do is move forward. It's revealed halfway through that Spielberg and Lucas didn't just harm his reputation, but they harmed his body. No consent, no warning, just a straight up assault. It's ingrained in the memories of all who went to the theater, and they'll never be the same again. 2 more instances of the crime were shown, and thankfully, they were arrested by the police. This was just South Park's way of telling the public that the new Indiana Jones movie was horrible, and it was done with 3 rape scenes and a 4th if you include the stormtrooper. Okay, moving forward, the episodes get less sexual and more depressing. So here's our first foray into that with Brittany's new look. It's made very clear within the first 2 minutes that this is a commentary on paparazzi culture. That apparently celebrities don't get a right to privately enjoy their lives. People get excited and bombard them all day, and it's considered acceptable. One guy made $100 grand taking a photo of Brittany, so now that she's in South Park, the boys attempt to do the same. They successfully get their way into her motel room, and then this happens.
All right, lady, just flash us your crotch or something.
I've got a better idea.
You do?
Yeah.
No!
Miraculously, without the top half of her face and a missing brain, she's still fine. And the media's obsession with her doesn't change one bit. Their behavior outright reminds me of COD zombies at this point. They're a giant hive-minded horde set to capture every second of Brittany's life. Even her manager is oblivious to the fact that most of her head was blown off and she's still receiving the same treatment. Expected to record and perform music, all while everyone around her is labeling her fat and not good enough. This is a dramatized satire, of course, but it's commenting on real behavior, and it sucks.
People are ridiculing Britney Spears. Her performance was awful, Tom. She looked tired, she looked fat, she didn't have a head. It was just completely phoned in.
Stan and Kyle attempted to get her away from all the madness, but they ultimately failed. She died due to America's toxic obsession with her, and in this case, all of America actually wanted her dead on purpose.
Britney was chosen a long time ago to be built up and adored, and then sacrificed for harvest.
Of course, the message in this episode is that paparazzi culture is out of control. It's a fair take, and it was conveyed through what was easily one of the darkest South Park episodes to date. A few seasons earlier, they bestow upon us the episode Kenny Dies. Perhaps that concept is nothing new. He's passed away dozens of times throughout the show, but this episode is a little bit different. Stan and Kyle are minding their own business in class when they're suddenly pulled out. They're told that Kenny is in the hospital and not doing well. This came out of left field for the boys and the audience, and for the first time, we're seeing some of these characters in a vulnerable state.
You know, it's funny, Kenny. Stan and Kyle have always sort of been 2 best friends, you know, and well, I don't know if I ever told you this, Kenny, but I kind of always thought you were my best friend. I don't know.
Much of South Park is shaken up by Kenny's situation. Stan is struggling to see Kenny in his sick state, and by the time he comes around, it's too late. So Kenny actually freaking died. This wasn't a bit. It came out of nowhere. It was cruel as hell. And unlike some of the other episodes where there's cruelty for the sake of conveying a point, this seemed to happen just for the hell of it. To me, this is essentially the show's version of Family Guy's Brian death. Like that situation, perhaps it was done for shock value and a cheap way of getting people reeled back into the show, except South Park's death had a larger impact on the show. Kenny didn't return until the tail end of the following season. The next episode is similar to this one, but has a bit more purpose to it. Stanley's Cup is the notorious season finale that still arises in conversation to this day. Stan is put into a position where he needs to coach a young hockey team, and 3 minutes in, it's already clear that they're mocking the sports film genre, more specifically, the Mighty Ducks trilogy. When meeting the team, it's discovered that one of the young players is terminally ill.
I don't want to have cancer.
His condition only gets worse throughout the episode, and after the team brutally loses to a bunch of grown men, the poor kid passes away in the hospital. I suppose the point of the episode is that predictable sports movies are cringe, but conveying that through the death of a sick kid is dark.
Coach, does God hate me?
Gosh, dude, it's even the same hospital Kenny passed away in. Here's a brief honorable mention before we move on to South Park's darkest episode. It's a single moment in the episode Pinewood Derby, where Stan and Randy join a local toy car race. After beating the opposing father and son, this happens.
Dad, I just want you to know I still love you. He's okay! He's okay! He's okay! He's okay! He's okay!
Enough said there, that's just absurd. But here we are. We've made it to the most disturbing, vilest episode of South Park's catalog. Scott Tenorman must die. Cartman pulls up to the boys one day, holding some pubes he bought off of Tenorman for $10. After learning that maturing means growing your own, as opposed to buying and owning them, Cartman feels ripped off. Multiple times, Cartman attempts to get a refund, but Tenorman doesn't budge, so he thinks up some creative ways to get back at him. Not only does none of it work on Scott Tenorman, but he's actually just as cruel as Cartman, or so it seems. This back and forth continues for a little while longer, until they eat chili together. Cartman unloads this huge master plan he had that all culminated to one moment.
You would most likely send your parents, and I'm afraid that when Mr. Dankins spotted them on his property, he shot and killed both your parents. After a night with the hacksaw, I was all ready to put on my chili gun carnival so that I could tell you personally about your parents' demise. And of course, feed you your chili. Do you like it? Do you like it, Scott? I call it Mr. and Mrs. Tenorman chili.
Oh my God!
Yeah, Cartman is insane. A kid sells pubes to Cartman and refuses to give him his money back. So Cartman kills his parents and has the kid eat them through chili? It's the darkest thing the show has ever done, and it's all because of Eric Cartman. Some of these episodes were done in this disturbing fashion for shock value or just cuz, and that's a little ridiculous. But sometimes it was done to shed a light on serious topics, forcing our attention on an issue in an entertaining manner that comments on the world around us and proposes how we can make it better. I'll simplify it further. We laugh at Eric Cartman, but we sure as hell never act like Eric Cartman.